Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekend update. Hope you are all enjoying having this Monday off. That was perfect timing for this long weekend after what is probably one of the best starts we've had to the small cap market since 1999, 2000. Just a phenomenal market we are in right now that should show no signs of abating. But let's jump in. Let's look at the Dow chart here. Now, I really didn't have to update this chart much from last week. We saw a little bit of a selling off into the weekend. Not uncommon, especially after the open on Friday. Options expiration, they tend to go after stocks so that they can have the most number of options, calls, and puts expire worthless. So the ones that only make money on options, the writers, made their money. And then after that early shakedown, we saw a nice little bounce back really throughout the rest of the market. Going into this week, what are we looking for? It has been crazy to the upside, but we have a new president coming up. We've got the inauguration, and we will probably start to see some sort of rotation. Wouldn't surprise me, out of the tech stocks and into the boring Dow caps. So we should see a bounce back on the Dow, probably led by those boring stocks, given that they're going to start to rotate money for that huge stimulus plan that's going to be coming under Biden. But, looking at the Qs, you can see here we're at, a decent support level. The action is great out there, but one thing to note, this is probably the lowest number of stocks I've seen under $2 since the 20 plus years I've been trading. That is a testament to the strength in the market out there. Last week, we talked about a couple of large cap stocks. Zoom Video was one of them. We were looking for that bounce back to the 50-day, and what a move this puppy had all the way up to the 50-day. Where do we go from here on Zoom? It needs to close above this 50-day moving average. Otherwise, we could see it, $20, $30 plus retrace on this one. If this one got to close over 420, we would be looking for that move to 500 plus, swinging this stock and seeing where we go. This story is not over for these guys. This is actually a tech stock that I think is a buy on weakness. We've got a new shift thanks to COVID. Zoom meetings are not going away anytime soon. AI. I'm going to bring AI up for one reason. This is a long-term IPO we picked up a couple of months ago. And the reason I'm bringing this one up, it's reminding me a lot of Snow that we bought after its IPO earlier last year. And it put into a nice little trading range before it ended up doubling. And what I'm talking about here, this was the Zoom chart. And you recall, we were playing the ranges on this stock when it went down to like 220, 230. It was giving 30, 40, $50 moves before it went on that doubling move about 5 or 6 months later. If we look at AI, it's kind of starting to set up the same way. This would be a stock I would be looking to pick up shares in the 110 to 130 area on big dips and adding to that position if we got a break of 152. I'd be looking for 180, but I think this is a stock that's going to 200 and 300 over the coming months. But this could make for a nice little swing and range pickup stock like we did last year on Snow. Back to the small pennies we go. ACST is setting up pretty nicely here on the 1 hour chart. It's right here at the bottom at its support level, but where the buyers will really probably come in is 66 cents. That's the level I'm looking to add to my position on. For break 66 cents, we'll be looking at 80 cents plus. Remember, we've got some upcoming news expected from these guys. They haven't done any kind of update on their failed phase 3 trial. Biotechs always scrub the data and kind of spin it a few months later, so we've got that coming. They're also a biotech shell, so a merger press release could come on this one, and we'd be looking at north of $1 on the algo chasing in pre-market. ADMP. This is the weekly chart we're looking at right here, and it finally broke out this past week and just looks great. We've got a positive MACD cross, big time. This is the volume that we were looking for, and if this breakout continues, we're looking for 1 to 150 and possibly 2 plus. Not crazy given the moves that we've seen on absolute junkers like JAGX and Gishi. And look what ZOM did. ZOM at one point last week, I think it has 1 billion shares outstanding, and it was at $1.40 for a just a ridiculous valuation. But what that tells us is there's only a certain amount of stocks left, as I mentioned at the start of the video, and a lot of money chasing that stock. So when we get breakout moves, they're going to be very powerful. Now, last week we saw Ogen go over $1 on its update for its COVID drug. ADMP is still awaiting its update. So based on what Ogen did, things look pretty good for ADMP near term. This is the 1 hour chart. And you can see right now we're right back down at the support level. But if you scroll down here, you can see MACD in the basement. And when we've seen it this low, we've seen a nice little spike of 10 to 20 cents within the following, week or so. So looking at this one here, we could be looking at a, breakout move over 84 cents in the near term. One of my favorite biotech setups right now is CNSP. As you know, we have this curl bottom in place here. Now, this stock ran up here on very, very good, I believe it was breast cancer news. And then, of course, AGP was lying in wait so that they could drop an offering down here. I think it was like 210 or 20 or something like that. Typical AGB capital nonsense, but that has passed. We've got the curl in place. Friday, we got that MACD cross. Now, we're in here waiting for that big move. Where will guys come in? You'll see some guys come in on this $2 break, but the majority of chasers who watch scanners and trade off of scanners, this 210, 220 level is where you'll start to see them coming in. And by the time they start buying this one, we're already up 40 cents on the trade. So best of all worlds while we sit and wait on this swing. RSI is about to break 50. We've got that MACD cross. Love these kinds of setups, especially now that the financing is out of the way and the guys that did the financing are about to jam this stock higher and get paid. CIDM did exactly what we wanted to early last week. We got that $1 200-day moving average price test and then some selling hit and came right back down. This is set up to go again. I'd be keeping a very close eye on this stock in the near term. It looks to be ready to bounce. INUV. See, guys, a little bit of patience pays off. We had that big move last week all the way up to 78 cents. Remember, while we were waiting for this stock down here, 70 cents was what we were waiting for. We had that big move up, but then let's pull in on the chart, and the offering came. Now, I actually talked about the likelihood of the offering early last week in the chat room. I said it wouldn't surprise me. It would actually be a good thing. It would explain why they're standing on the head, on the neck of this stock and not letting it go. Well, that offering came, good price. It was actually a very, very clean offering. And by that, I mean it was just stock. No warrants, no pre-funded warrants, none of that garbage that you see in all these other stocks. Clean, clean offering. That offering is out of the way now. We should be free for that next leg over $1. My top stock for 2021 is this puppy here. And like I said last week, every piece of crap junk has gone to the stratosphere with ridiculous market caps. And here we have a legit stock that should be trading over $2 in my opinion, based on everything that they do. AI advertising, connected TV advertising, etc., still sitting down here in the 60, 70 cent area. It will have its time in the sun. Looking here, weekly chart, we peaked just above that 200-day moving average on this huge multi-year cup and handle breakout. Again, next target, when we get that close over 71 cents, we're looking at 110 and 2+ on this stock. Sugar box is almost at our target here, slowly and steady going. Now this one I believe blew up on after hours on Friday, so we are sitting really pretty on this EV charging story. Now the other EV charging story is MDGS. They have gotten into the sector, EV charging. It also had a big run, did an offering, has coiled for a couple of weeks and looks ready to rock and roll. Where will they start chasing this one? $2.50 probably. We're looking for $3, $4, and $5 on this EV charging play. Going to be a hot theme with Biden and the Democrats. Green energy, green anything is going to be big in the next year. They've already extended the tax breaks, the tax credits for charging and solar and whatnot. So a lot of money is going to be flowing into this sector. Quick mention on job. Biden's 1.9 trillion plan had emergency funding to hire 100,000 healthcare workers. Job is the only guys who does healthcare placement of all these small cap plays. Still ridiculous. I think that this stock is sitting down here. Let's look at some other charts in this. Let's look at the weekly chart here. You can see the key level, a close over 150, and this is a 2+ stock, plain and simple. My other favorite play right now is SNCA, SNCA. And actually, let's look at the 1 hour chart here. Shows here the highs of 160, but this was actually 170, 180 on news last week. Came all the way right back down. Remember, this is a stock that has told us the merger value for its shares are $2.09. JAGX ran to 4+. Need I say more? This is a pickup shares anywhere in the 130. You know, probably I would love to be able to pick up shares in the 125 to 135 area. You know, while we wait for this one to get its nice move higher. We go back here, we look at the weekly chart, 2+, then 4, depending on how crazy the momentum gets out there. Quick mention on TRCH. This is our green energy merger play. Meta, the research is just phenomenal on this one. LiDAR stocks have gone insane. And Meta, the company that Trch is going with, they also have LiDAR. Their technology is phenomenal. Read that presentation. This is still a dirt cheap stock. Look what Sun has done. Look what OEG has done. Actually, let's look at those stocks while I'm talking about it. This is Sun, the stock that we started getting in the 60 to 70 cent area. We're going to pull up the weekly chart. Yeah, look at this. $14 last week. We also own this one long term because we have to have exposure to that sector. Here's OEG. Yep, from here to here. Unbelievable. ENG. Look at this one. This is where we were buying. Now it's pushing $9. And then last but not least, the one that we are still hyped on, TRCH, now has come quite a bit since we jumped in. We're in here in the 30s, but this one is still lagging the other gigantic moves we are seeing here. $4 to $5 is not crazy on this one given what we've seen. Now, the last couple of stocks I'm going to talk about, I think are tremendously undervalued and are going to be in play for the next few weeks and months based on what Kathy Woods, Tesla lady, has done. Now, if you had your head in the sand, she's launching a space ETF that's going to be open to the public towards the end of March. Anything to do with space, she said, drones, space, support, etc. VISL is so dirt cheap, it blows my mind. The market cap on this stock is $35 million. It's a play, you know, the side angle was riots this weekend. The play on this is that ETF. This is probably one of the most legit small cap satellite plays there is. Look what UAVS has done. And UAVS has no revenue. We've been in it. Look at this move on UAVS. It has a $500 million market cap right now. VISL has a $35 million market cap, and it's got $24 million in revenue versus nothing for UAVS, or a couple of million. Just on that alone, this is a cheap stock. We are looking for 4+ on the swing. You're going to see these kinds of stocks get bought up over the next couple of months into that ETF launch because there's not a whole lot of these US-based space stocks left, especially in small cap land. The other one on that is GSAT. Now, GSAT was a phenomenal swing winner for it. I think it only took about a week for us to go from 40 cents to 117, you know, 200% move. This is one that we will be adding on dips. Now, how low are the dips? Tough to say. Let me fix this chart here. This is the 1 hour chart here. It had a couple of pops over $1, but right now it's holding this 80s area. A good pullback position, if it pulled back, would be 70 to 75 cents. I do not believe this stock is going anywhere down here unless we get some significant selling. And if it did, based on the prospects, this is Global Star Satellite. I mean, this is a stock like VISL that, in my opinion, absolutely is a target buy, other than the big ones that everyone talks about like space and SRAC. This is going to be a player in that. Now, while we go into this week, on Friday, one of the things, we raised a lot of cash. We sold out a lot of our free positions. I like to do that, especially after a mania couple of weeks and into long weekends. We're going to go shopping for new swing plays this week. 80% is a good cash level at this stance. Remember, the whole idea of the swing strategy is you have to be able to buy dips, sell pops to make those swing shares free. So that's it for the video, guys. Enjoy the rest of this long weekend, and I will see you all in the chat room tomorrow. Bye.